Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome to Morning Brew. As you can tell, I wanted to share that graphic one more time because, yeah, I spent hours on it. I might as well show it off. Um, and welcome to Morning Brew. How are you doing this morning? We're just kind of chilling out, having a good morning. Uh, so wherever you are, whenever you're watching, welcome to Morning Brew. And let's get started with the chat. Ryan Roger Athay, liked and shared. Dave G. Sound says, Good morning, Brew. Keely Chow says, Hey, everybody, good morning. Oh, this is the thing. Hey, all. Yes, Kronos, this is a thing. Believe it or not, it's still a thing. Don't know how much longer it'll be a thing, but it's a thing. And let's see here, people saying hi to each other, which is always good to see. And hey, Dr. Alex, once more on that darn train. I think you spend more time on the train than anywhere else. At least when you're on the listening to the morning brew in the afternoon. And of course, continuing to say hi to each other. What train? Uh, Train is always on. Uh, well, let's see here. It'd be a noon train, so I don't think midnight. And why does Journey ring a bell now? I don't know. Why do tasers ring a bell now? Curtis says, please help smash the like button and subscribe. Ah. Curtis says, perhaps share as well. There better be coffee. Oh, of course there's coffee, Curtis. What would the morning brew be like without coffee? And hey, GWTG content, how are you tonight? Curtis is awake and alive. And thank you for that. And good morning, Joker Voice. Good morning, Chester. Good morning, Keely Chow. Good morning, Dwayne Foy Jr. Ah. And Chester's here to say good morning to everyone. And good morning, Christian Fandom Geek. And thank you very much. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Thought it's probably going to be the last celebration I'm going to be doing for a while, so I'll make it a good one. That's why I took longer on it than the other graphics I created. Uh, and people saying hi to each other. And yes, Journey is a classic rock band. Carter says, yeah, they are. Going anywhere. Hmm. Doesn't ring a bell. So, yes, it's Friday morning here where I'm at. And just kind of chilling out, relaxing, having coffee as usual, dealing with children in the background. Uh, and trust me, Keely, if I could get a sponsorship from Geek Grind Coffee, I would do it. I would. People saying hi to each other. Chrono says, "Wow, it is Friday." Yes, it is. Joker voice says, "Smoosh that like button." Yeah. Thoughts on the Obi-Wan show coming out? Honestly, I haven't really seen much of anything. Um, what I have seen doesn't look bad. Has a little too much of I don't know. I don't think that Obi Wan and uh, Darth Vader should meet because, yeah, it's kind of history altering. I don't think it. Yeah, just me. I think they're kind of screwing their own lore by doing that. But whatever. I'm not in charge. Dave says that sounds real relaxing there, Captain. No, it doesn't. Thank you. Uh, now, as far as that goes, yes, but I'm just, I don't know. Considering the what's happened in the past, I'm less likely to be enthusiastic about any new series coming out. They're gonna have to really impress me. I mean, seriously. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. I would take the Journey CD and put them into the cases for Destinations album. When you open it, it'll be the journey, not the destination. Oh, Lord. It's supposed to be about the events between 3 and 4. Yeah, and they're not supposed to meet between episodes 3 and 4. No. When I left you, I was with the learner. Now I am the master. Now, that would signify that that was the last time they had met. They had seen each other. Was on whatever the hell it's called, the planet that he was rescued from after being in the fire. And Kronos, talk to me later. Send me a DM later. We'll talk. News. What's oh, it's Janeway time? Okay. Give me a little time to recoup.
Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
And good morning, Pops. Christian Geek says coffee black. That's correct. And good morning. I just did it, Kronos. And people saying hi to each other. It's always good to see. Mustafar, thank you very much. I didn't want to say the wrong name or say it the wrong way. Right now, I've not had enough coffee. And what about Clark Kent? I would concur with you on that one. And good morning, Resolute Germ. Thank you, Keely Chow. The Guinea Pig Collective birthday celebration later today at 5:45 p.m. I'm assuming that would be Eastern, so 4:45 Central on Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Let me go to that real quick and set a reminder. Most likely I will be asleep. At least I can have a reminder set and go to the stream and maybe at least say hello. And got that taken care of. People say hi to each other. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do that. Not something I want to go into this morning. And good morning, BK Dan. I hope so too. It would be a nice thing to have. And Manda Ray Pope, good morning. 5:45 Central Standard Time. Thank you very much. I say half the people are Eastern, half the people are Central. There's well, not quite half, but mostly half are Eastern, and and actually be Central Daylight Time since we're not on Standard Time. But just being a nitpicky thing there. Just a little nitpicky. And you're quite welcome. I've subscribed to many channels because I happen to see them in the chats I go to, and Kapla Birdo Prairie 5. And what about Clark Kent, Kernos? All right, we got people saying hi to each other, which is always good. Yes, Bird woke up. Uh, all right, you can do that. You can do that. Although from the lines in the movie, it would seem that there wouldn't be possible. But okay. No, no, no. Central time. Central time is the best time zone. It's the most important time zone. It is central. Central to the existence of everything that is central time. So, therefore, central time is the most important time, unless, of course, you're in the UK, where you have Greenwich Mean Time. So, technically, they're two important ones, but hey. Uh, what have I seen recently? Well, I was trying to watch Picard, and yeah, I can't access Paramount Plus anymore, so I'm going to be canceling my subscription. And quite honestly, I would suggest that anybody else, unless you really want it, cancel the subscription. I want to try to cost them as much money as possible. And you beat me to it.
Hello, world. It's Birdo Prairie 5, Cupslaw. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning.
And good morning, everybody in chat. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry, Cap. I did miss the first 15 minutes or so.
No problem.
Just got up myself. How are things today?
Things are pretty good. A
Good.
little noisy, but good.
Yeah, I'll take noisy over pain.
Exactly.
Not all the time. Most of the time. You do have to have a little break from noise. But most of the time. Kronos says I'm always late. Please, Kronos. And hello, Joker voice. Take care, Joker voice. He's got to scoot.
You have a good day at work, Joker voice.
Chirp, chirp, chirp. Equal bird. Good for good Friday morning. You know, I forgot it was even Friday. BK Dan, thank you. Fridays don't mean much in mine and Mama Pray's lifestyle, unfortunately. But well, actually, it does, because sometimes it means Sissel Prey is coming over. But unfortunately, her and Charlie both have pretty solid colds. So not COVID, but colds.
Right.
And, yeah, they're not going to come over. So we don't get sick.
Yeah. Good idea.
Sleeping pills. Oh man, manta ray. Manta ray of hope. That's like the opposite of a bird of prey. It's like if you're stuck in the middle of the ocean, you want a manta ray of hope to come after you, not a bird of prey. I could see a bird of prey fighting a manta ray of hope. Oh, and
Yeah.
23 even. It's like the opposite of 5. Although they're both odd. Very good choice of name, manta ray of hope. Anyway, have a good night. I hope you get some sleep.
Absolutely.
Even though it's night shift, right? Okay, so get some sleep. I guess I need sleeping pills too if it was morning. And I was trying to sleep.
I don't usually have a problem. It doesn't matter the time of day.
Yeah, Mama Pray used to work the night shift. And wait, was that the night shift or the early morning? When you were working at JetBlue, was that the night shift or the early? She worked all the shifts, so she could fall asleep whenever she had time to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, if I didn't have,
yeah, sometimes she'd start 3:30 in the morning. Sometimes she'd start 6 at night. Yeah. You had to work her way up.
Okay, go to the bottom of the scene.
Wow. Every time you got a promotion, you would start at the bottom of the seniority to
yeah,
that group. So every promotion, then you started with a shitty schedule.
so in a way, getting promotion is not always the best thing.
No, it's not. Epic Verse Studios. I don't think I've seen that one before. Keely Chow. I'm gonna go take a look.
I haven't either. That's one reason I like having Keely Chow in the chat. I heard of different channels I hadn't heard before.
No, I have not.
Doesn't have
Although
any
it just
content.
there's no
They have-
content. They must have deleted their content.
They had to have. Well, I'm not sure because they have 0 hours. If they deleted content, it would have been minus hours. So, oh well, they got another subscriber. And it says coming soon, so hopefully soon.
Joined April 9th, 2022. Damn, Keely, you really get 500 subscribers for somebody who doesn't have any content?
Damn.
Listen, I'm all for subscribing to places, but I don't know that I'm going to subscribe. Okay, I will. What the fuck? Yeah, let's give it. Let's get them. Fuck it. Let's get them to 1,000 subscribers. I don't care. But I subscribed. I subscribe, but I'll be honest. I'm not clicking the bell until I know what their content is.
Exactly.
It doesn't hurt to subscribe, but I'm not clicking the bell until I know what their actual content is. And I'll be honest, I usually don't subscribe to channels that don't have any content. But since Keely Chow is promoting them, fuck it, I'll subscribe.
Exactly. I'm surprised. So do you know this person, Keely?
It's a cool ass logo. Their artwork is nice. They put half that amount of detail into their videos. Darius Muchhausen subscribed and hit the bell. Wow, he's taking a risk.
Yep. I admit I subscribed. I didn't ring the bell. I usually do if I see a channel that I like the content. If I don't see any content like that, it's like I don't hit the bell. I don't.
I mean, is it another YouTuber we already know by a different name? I don't. It doesn't matter. I'm sure once they start putting out content, we'll come to see it. Mamo Pray is waving.
What?
People are saying hello and good morning. So you're waving back.
Good morning, Mama Pray. Hopefully you're doing well.
She can't hear it, but she is.
You can relay messages.
Captain Trek says good morning. She said good morning. Joseph there? I don't think so.
Not yet. Not yet.
Got a bone to pick
Oh, really?
with his Wordle, please. Why is my voice going away? This is a bigger problem.
Maybe you need something to drink.
Maybe drink some water. No tail, Crumbs. I'm sorry. Unless Mama's right. Doesn't appear to be Kronos.
Well, I'm going to be putting the link in the chat anyhow. Just getting ready to. So you're welcome to join, Pops.
It's Friday. You too can come on the Captain Trek Morning Brew show.
All right. So how did you score
a card?
A card.
0.1 out of 10.
Wow.
Same as last week.
Oh, it's just.
This episode was long and boring. This one they could have cut in half. I would have been happier if they did. They just drew it out far longer than it had to be.
And good morning, Pops.
Good morning, Cap. Good morning, Birds of Prey.
Pops,
good morning,
hey.
Cat. How's everybody?
Doing well? Enough?
I tell you what, your review, I got caught. I couldn't sleep. I streamed, and then I was on another stream till late, and then couldn't fall asleep, so I was catching up on videos. And then I saw yours this morning, and it was a great reminder of why I have zero desire to watch any of Picard. Because some of the things that you were just mentioning, I was just making my head hurt so bad. I'm like,
they completely ruined. I mean, Salty Tracker jokes about ruining the Borg, or not jokes, but they ruined the Borg in Voyager. They ruined the Borg in First Contact. No, Picard actually ruins the Borg completely. And just you have one dumb writer who makes one stupid line, and it F's up the entire collective for all history.
Well, let's go back to one of the things that you just kind of throw in, and it's like, well, they're shooting at a hologram.
Oh,
I'm like, what? Wait. And I hit the minus 10-second thing to hear it again, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I mean, as bad as Halo is, I'm doing a weekly Halo bash. Basically, that's what that's turned into. And other Marvel shows are absolutely horrible. I don't think I remember anything as bad as shooting at a hologram with like a serious intent, and that's pretty much what was happening. I was like, "Oh my
absolutely!"
God,
I mean, And they should have had the knowledge of the Borg, since they were Borgified, and
Right.
they were still just shooting at hologram. What the fuck?
And then and then you said the Borg Queen is crying, and then like, why am I crying? And I wish I had a clip. If I was in a review, I would have put a clip in of the Grinch scene where he at the end of the Ron Howard Grinch movie, like I'm crying, I'm leaking, and I'm like, that's how I felt. Like the Borg Queen is crying about being a bad Borg Queen, and like, what on earth is in the show?
Oh Lord.
I know. That's how I felt too, Cap. Like, oh Lord. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, and then you said that basically the Borg Queen gets talked to about how to be a proper Borg Queen.
Yeah, Jurati decides that the best way to deal with the Borg Queen is to convince her to be a nice Borg Queen and only take people who want to be assimilated. Basically take the sick people of the galaxy and assimilate them into a stronger Borg, and that this collection would be even stronger than taking people who don't want to be, who taking the strongest people. If you only take the weak and the infirm.
So this is right out of this is right out of like the postmodernist handbook of, if we could just talk to the evil person, they could be less evil. If we could explain our morality to them, then they just wouldn't be this bad person. And
right.
And everything.
The Borg Queen comes out and says, that sounds like a pretty stupid thing. It sounds like you want me to take the weak. And then Jurati's like, what you call weak, I call diverse or something.
Oh my God, they said that?
Yes. Like what you call weak, I call strength.
Holy crap.
What you call this, I call diversity. And that will overcome everything. She's like, they'll be stronger because they're diverse. She's like, that's stupid.
If anyone can lift that clip, I just want the clip of them going, what you call weak, I call diverse. I want that clip. I'll play that clip regularly, because that is
something to that effect. I'll get it.
Wow, that is tremendous. That actually ranks up there with like the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier with like the race lecture about you can do better. That ranks up there about just because that's transparent about their politics being in our entertainment. This is exactly how they think and believe, and that's woo, yeah. I mean, I heard all sorts of terrible stuff about Picard anyway, and I haven't watched any of this stuff. But yeah, if you haven't seen Birds of Prey review, man, you want a reminder, or you just want to, again, I call it the German word, what, Schadenfreude? Basically, it's hate watching or whatever. But wow, Picard deserves every bit of this and more. And we're gonna do another season of it. That's crazy.
We're gonna need another season because they're not gonna finish this one. I mean, this one's certainly not going to finish this story, not with only one episode left.
Right.
How are they going to? These idiots have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Nope. I don't think they care. Like, this is what I was saying about the Moon Knight thing. I did a very brief rant after getting a chance to talk to Mexican Iron Man, and I only ranted for a couple minutes, and I'm like, we're on episode 5 out of 6, and I have to be honest, if I hadn't read the comic books, I would have no idea what's going on, and because none of the rules and like how the powers work and what nothing's explained to the audience. You can't be invested, and they don't care that you don't know. They think that they're smart and they're going to be great because they're going to have someone tell you how things are instead of showing you something. Picard is even worse because Picard is like, forget about the rules or whatever. We just do these random things. That is way worse than Halo. I mean, oh my gosh, shooting at a hologram just stopped me in my tracks. I'm still like, what on earth? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad I had a chance and highlight some of the great points of your review. Folks should check that out because that was it's a good time for me. Made me laugh at least. So.
Absolutely.
How's everything else going? Seen anything good? Anything you guys can recommend?
Actually, I have. It's called. It's not a show I ever thought I'd watch because I didn't give a shit at the time, but it's on Hulu called Tom, Pam, and Tommy about the sex tape of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee Jones.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like the background of how it all happened and who the people were who originally put it up for sale. And it was actually very interesting. I'm at episode 8 of a 12-part miniseries. And like I say, it's one of the best pieces of TV I've watched in a long time. Yes, it's full of nudity. At least the second and third episodes have a lot of nudity. And as you imagine, it's about a sex tape. They show clips of the tape and they show a lot of male nudity and female nudity.
Is that like a docudrama then? Or is
yeah,
it
I would say it's a docudrama.
okay.
It's not completely
They
fictional.
need to be fair and equal about showing nudity.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of upper parts of women and lower. Well, the men only have lower parts in that respect to show. But they are walking through the Playboy Mansion. They're walking through porn studios. So there's casual nudity all over, and there's actual. I imagine it's clips of the tape or you see, I don't even know if I'm looking at the real them or not, because I really don't know all that close how they look. The girl they have looks damn much just like Pamela Anderson as a young Pamela Anderson. So I don't know. I honestly thought it was her doing it, but like this lady's got to be 40 years older than she was for the tape, so it can't be her. I have no idea, but I'm just saying, Pam and Tommy on Hulu. As long as we don't have kids, totally worth the watch.
And despite what Birds of Prey just said, I'm not showing off my upper parts. I consider them private as well. Just so we're clear, on my channel, it'll be safe. No upper parts for you people.
The only reason I don't show off my upper parts is because I was always embarrassed of how female-ish they looked because of the extra weight. But these days, while they're still not a flat chest, I've lost enough weight that I would probably go shirtless if not for the fact that 3 decades of never going in the sun has left me super white and full of hair.
Well, I can relate to super white because I basically live in Florida and I have to be careful about the sun. So it's a go from pale to peel and back to pale again. There is no really tanning in my life. So yeah, I can relate to that.
Breaking news: Elon Musk to buy Kuroga. Wow. What the hell?
Let's see here. Good morning, NB Geek. Good morning, Darius Munchausen. Good morning, Ron Moore.
Sorry, Pops. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine. You're fine.
I had emergency news there.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to think of all this. I'm just happy that because I kind of got back on Twitter as a networking tool, but it's really kind of thing to see people that had been banned and kicked off from years ago or over frivolous or silly reasons popping back up again and things like that. So maybe it'll bring some decent, fun conversation back to certain pockets. I think there'll always be a place for the vile and the vitriol, but carve out the world that you want to live in is kind of what I think. So good. Awesome. How about you, Caps? Anything you can recommend? Anything that's positive that you'd like to share or talk about?
I wish. I need to start watching HBO Max more again. See what else is out there. At least I have that available.
It has got
good
some
morning,
decent
Mexican
content,
Iron Man.
to be honest. Good morning. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for last night. We had a great time chatting. And yeah, HBO Max. By the way, I would love to stream with someone about Winning Time. It's an HBO Max, docudrama about the Lakers and Magic Johnson's rookie year, the 1979 championship. It's really over the top, exposing Showtime and the chaos of women and drugs and all that. However, it is very, very good. And sports in our little fellowship of fandom tends to be kind of forgotten. I'd like to kind of expand our fandom coverage into more of like non-genre material to bring in more normies. But yeah, that's one I think I could recommend on HBO Max, but it's definitely not for the children. And it is easier to get through the 3 hours of Batman because you can kind of break it into chunks if it's not for you. Like if you know, if you just want to get through it, it is easier to watch it on an app like that. But it is dark at times; you can't see as much. It's kind of like not as bad as the Game of Thrones. That was terrible. Your whole episodes, you could barely see anything for 5 minutes or something. It was
Wow.
But yeah, they have a lot. No, it's no wonder why they're passing Disney in growth, because at least their content, there's massive libraries of things for everyone, whereas Disney is very compartmentalized yet because they don't really know what they're doing. So, but I enjoy that. I enjoy. There's a show called 2006 called Jericho. I think it's actually on the app, the aforementioned app that you can't access, Cap. But I've been rewatching that as well as something positive in my life, or something I enjoy watching, even though it's
I
kind
love
of
Jericho.
yeah, it's great show. Holds up pretty well. I mean, there's still some silly, contrived plot points to move the story along, but as an overall entertaining, it's all right. I like it. So, but yeah, that's it really. So I'm glad I was able to pop in for a couple minutes and say hey to you guys before the weekend.
I'm saying, are you saying Jericho's on CBS All Access or whatever?
Paramount
Plus?
Yeah. I think it's Paramount
Huh.
Plus. I don't have CBS All Access. I think it's Paramount Plus. I don't know the difference between
Yeah,
the two.
no,
thing.
it became Paramount Plus.
Okay, yeah, it's on there. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So I'd recommend that, at least season 1, right? I'm not going to vouch for season 2 because the show was abruptly canceled, right? Literally in the middle of them filming. So
Well, they did at least finish off the season once they knew it was going to be canceled. We got a resolution. It wasn't the resolution they hoped it to be, but it was.
Yeah,
I could live with it.
I've never read the. I guess they released some comic books or a graphic novel that basically represents a season 3, but I've never gotten that or read that. So that'll be out there as my long-term bucket list plans because I did like the show and the characters.
I've tried to read graphic novels as continuations. It doesn't work for me. That's probably taboo to say in this crowd, but I'm not a comic book person.
Yeah, to each their own.
I can't get behind them now, unless it's a Garfield comic, in which case then Garfield sits around the house.
Yes, indeed, he does.
That I can do.
That's good. All right, before I go, is there anything fun in chat? Chat's always awesome. Is there anything fun in chat? I should say I have a hard time holding my phone and reading chat. So sorry about that, folks.
Chrono says Jon Snow was a snowflake. If you're a Game of Thrones person.
I am so pleased that I didn't watch Game of Thrones in real time. That once I had the access to the HBO Max, I watched it in like 3 to 4 weeks. So I kind of binged it all. So yeah, I can see how painful this would be for people who invested years of their lives to get to that point where it was just so radically the characters were just completely being switched and changed into things they weren't before for no reason whatsoever. And it was criminal what they did to his character. Makes no sense, obviously, to most of those characters. So yeah.
Darius McMuchhausen says poor Mama Prey working random hours. That was decades ago, Darius. Now she works even more random hours whenever I need her.
Don't worry, now I'm on 28.
Yeah, now she's on 24/7 call, and 18 out of 24 actual work, at least. Probably more.
Well, speaking of work, I have to make sure I get to it. Go ahead.
Okay, Pops.
Bird doesn't like
you guys take care.
Subbing. You have a good day, Pops.
Kronos is unsubbing.
You guys see you later. Goodbye, chat. Have a good weekend, folks.
Take care. Mexican Iron Man says, wait, Manifest is back. I don't think it ever left. It just moved to Netflix. There's quite a few seasons of Manifest on Netflix. I said F you once they left television. I was done. I was half ready to quit Manifest as it was. I was like, nah, this show is falling apart. They went all Lost on me, and I could tell. It's like, not again. Not again. Resolute says, no, Bird, you're right. Comic books suck at conveying a coherent message most of the time. No, well, okay. Glad to. I don't know. To me, it's just like I guess if I really like the artwork, I might, like a Garfield watch.
Right.
But or Far Side.
And yes,
Yeah.
Darius. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Bird did the rant on his own channel 13 hours ago.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's enough ranting to go to other channels.
I think Darius is a little behind in the stream. Take it up to 1.25, you'll catch up pretty quick. You don't have to worry about it going too fast. I promise I won't talk fast. I won't talk fast this time. I'll be nice. Okay, I just had something happen on my computer. What the fuck happened? What the hell? All of a sudden it resized my screen. I didn't do anything either.
Sure, you didn't, Captain.
And yes, subscribe to Dr. Alex. And you're going to want to hit the bell.
I like Deadwood too, Kronos. And Envy Geek says, yes, Bird of Prey. Manifest is getting a 4th season as a series finale, from what I'm reading.
Deadwood. Why do I know
I never
that
saw
name?
Deadwood. It's the show on HBO about the life in the town of Deadwood in like the 1860s or 1880s.
Oh, okay, yeah. I watched part of Deadwood before. Yeah.
Cocksuckers.
Yeah, that was a very frequent line in that show. Every episode had several.
Several cocksuckers.
Yep, they were fixated on cocksuckers for some reason.
I told this story. That phrase, the cocksucker phrase, was not a phrase actually used in Deadwood at the time. That phrase didn't rise to any prevalence until recently in history. If you had said those words at the time, they wouldn't have really known what the fuck you were talking about. But
Right.
the words they would have used at the time to mean the same thing, today we wouldn't understand it. It has fallen so far out of use that it would actually sound laughable to hear men of that stature say the words that they would have used. And I'm sorry, I forgot what those words were, but it was like something we'd laugh at them, like they were idiots for even saying those stupid words. So the people behind the show were debating whether how specific to the period they wanted to keep it. And one of the ones they decided is they can't have these guys saying the real words
Right.
all of the time because people would just laugh it off as a joke. And they didn't want it to be laughed off as a joke. They wanted to know, they were fairly serious when they were saying it. So they made the decision to go with them saying cocksucker 6 times an episode instead of the real word.
Why not assholes or some other
I guess that was the particular, they wanted it to be, let's face it, until Deadwood, cocksucker was worse than asshole.
Right.
Okay. A cocksucker only became, because of the repetition it got in Deadwood.
Right. And good morning, Robert Rose Jr.
Westworld was annoying, says Kronos. I only watched the first season. Actually, I didn't. I watched part of the second, if not the whole second, and I wished I only watched the first season. Westworld, I'd say you get one season from Westworld, and then don't watch the rest. NB Geek says, Captain, I have an idea. I'm going to make a 6-part, 50-minute superhero show. The first EP, I will not show the costume till the last 30 seconds. The first episode, I will not show the costume until the last 30 seconds. And 2 episodes of no costume. Thoughts? I feel like that's based off of something in real life, but I don't know what. I've heard people talking about a superhero movie or show without a costume, but I don't remember which it was. Yeah. Dr. Alex says, if you say cocksucker 6 times in a row, do 2 appear? Although he threw in the word one more time.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
And Darius liked Westworld, particularly season 1. I think everybody liked season 1 if you watched it. Season 1 was brilliant. Cowboys and space, futuristic shit. And the poor lives, you start feeling bad for the robots. And then that wow at the end. Oh, season 1 had everything. Darius says it's okay to not be a comic book person, Bird of Prey. You like what you like. I wanted to get into manga, but I have a weird difficulty reading it, and not because it's right to left. Dr. Alex.
Hello, Bird.
Kapla.
Kapla.
What's going on, Dr. Alex? I'm glad to see you're home.
I just stuffed my face full of chili, so I'm now fed, which is always good. What's going on? Not a huge amount. Oh, it's a long weekend here, so it's my long weekend just started. Monday is a bank holiday. So that's
Boxing Day already.
Not that bank holiday. We have more than one.
That's the day after Christmas. Bird.
Whatever.
Whatever.
So, how comes around every so often.
Yeah, every 26th of December, which is also my birthday.
It's your birthday, Captain. Congratulations. Happy
26th
birthday.
of December is my birthday.
You just said it's Boxing Day. And the
On
banks
Boxing
are closed.
Day.
The banks are closed in London, which must mean it's your birthday.
Oh, Lord.
Does the Queen know?
Shh, don't tell her.
Does the Queen know what?
That your birthday is on Boxing Day.
I don't think she gives a damn.
I thought she did. I thought she was the people's queen.
We're in the States, you dork.
She'll forgive you. I'm sorry for bringing up the Queen in proper light, Dr. Alex. I hope you don't get thrown out of your country.
Yeah, I mean, you can say
But
what
if
you
you
want,
do,
as
there's
far as I'm
room
concerned,
here.
but yeah, they might throw me out of the country.
If there, we'll get you placed with Salty Tracker if you need to become a refugee.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. No,
I'm sure you'd prefer it there than New York. We don't have foxes and stuff running around.
What? You don't have urban foxes?
No urban foxes. We have
Rats.
rats and what are those things? Not coyotes. Coyotes don't come into the city. Raccoons. We got raccoons.
That sounds pretty cool.
Raccoons
And
and rats.
squirrels.
Oh, it's squirrels too.
Lots
I
of
like
squirrels. Okay. And birds. Now Sassy will come outside and scare everything away.
That's what dogs do.
Yep, that's right. Trash pandas.
Is that what they're called? Trash panda? I guess that makes sense. NB says if you get booted out of UK, he has a nice tree house you can use. Yeah, then you can be with the animals all day and all night.
Yeah, definitely easier access to squirrels, that's for sure. So, how long's the stream been going on so far?
I got here at 7:23, and so it started at 7, so an hour in.
Oh wow! Yep. Okay, it's pretty good going.
Welcome, NB Geek.
Hello. We've all suddenly got wider. You can see more of my bedroom.
Yeah, that's the thing with StreamYard. You're never quite sure what the video is how wide it is gonna be.
Could make it even worse.
Yeah, I think I made that joke to you, Dr. Alex, a little while back. I was like, what is it with everything in the UK? Your rooms are all like whiter than white.
Yeah.
I mean, by my definition, I mean, most rooms I've, gotten that were rented or I bought a place, they go with neutral colors, but usually it's an off-white. That looks, or an eggshell white. That just looks vanilla white.
I'd paint it.
It's actually to make them look more tan.
To make us look more tan. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's why we do it.
It
does make things lighter. That is kind of the purpose of white, is to reflect all the light everywhere. So it does make things brighter, which in this country you need.
Dr. Alex, is that a light or is that you like a sunlight coming through?
Behind me? Oh, the light itself, that's the sun. Although it's not out. It's grey out there at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those in my one of my bathrooms. We have one of those areas with a window on top.
This is a normal window, actually. It's a casement window, so bits of the roof are coming in, but the window itself is a normal window.
Okay. I was looking at the way the angle was going there on the roof and thought maybe it was
because it looks like the window would be up. Yeah.
Cap, from my perspective, maybe you disagree, but it looked like it, just based on that, it'd be kind of an angled up looking one.
Yeah.
Not a standard window like you have, but that's cool.
We have got one of those in the bathroom. We have a Velux one built into the roof in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll be honest, I'm one of the few people, I did not like Westworld Season 1. I just did not care. I thought, I'm going to be honest, I thought the visuals were absolutely gorgeous. I thought the cinematography was beautiful. I thought the production was great. The story just... Sorry. The story just sucked for me.
Well, that's why we all have, diversity of thought here.
Oh, we have to.
What Twitter had before.
Did it? See, I've never been on Twitter, so I mean, I only ever get it secondhand. Does it have a diversity of thought? No. Or not?
Now, I think you're going to start seeing some diversity of thought, but yeah, you got to try getting back some of your old handles, NB. Maybe that'll free up one of the old accounts.
Let me get off my. I think I still have. Well, I figured it out. I'm not going to be allowed back on Twitter until Monday, 5:30 my time. I think it's the exact moment my 7-day suspension goes away.
I forgot you got suspended from Twitter.
You've got other old accounts you could reapply for.
Yeah, I'd have to go look them up and see which ones I had. I do have a list somewhere. I got to look it up, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing if a few of them are, available again at this point. That would be interesting. I don't know if anybody's actually left Twitter or not. That I guess quote unquote matters, because quite frankly, I don't give a shit. All I see is some people complaining about they've lost like thousands of subscribers, but they're followers, and then other people are getting. Oh, sorry, Cap. Go ahead.
I've heard a lot of people commenting they're gaining followers.
I was going there. I've heard some people are losing a lot while some are gaining a lot. Kind of makes you wonder what is going on behind the scenes. It sounds to me like there's accounts dropping off, but there's people who are now like, oh, I can actually come on here and voice myself without worrying about getting shut down every time I say something, controversial, as the term would be, which I hate when people say, oh, this is a controversial topic. No, it's not. It's a debatable topic. It's only controversial because somebody made it controversial. It's like most of the topics we have in America wouldn't even be controversial if you didn't have our stupid media on both sides trying to gaslight the shit all the time.
Well, yeah, they're either controversial or just plain stupid.
Yeah.
Like a topic
I hate to say it. In America, our laws are pretty simple. It's not a complicated. I mean, in all honesty, we don't have a complicated form of government if you really think about it. We just have, unfortunately, really smart people who think our government isn't complicated enough, so they want to make sure they complicate. So, like I said, the original tax bill, when the IRS was first created, the IRS tax code was 4 pages. Now I think it's like 4,000. And then you see people complaining about people not paying their fair share. I'm like, dude, y'all the ones who passed the laws. It's not our fault these guys know how to play the game. I mean, the average person, I'm pretty sure Cat, Bird, Dr. Alex, I don't know how taxes work in the UK, but none of us want to pay more than what we have to. And if we can save $1 here or there, we're going to do it.
I don't think it's as complicated as the US by a long way, but I do think that some aspects of it don't make it easy to declare, and they've certainly encouraged people not to, just by being less easy to access. So, on the other hand, as I say, they're not chasing very effectively, which is kind of good in one respect for small people like me who might inadvertently not remember to pay tax on someone's own gift or something. But on the other hand, very wealthy corporations are not getting taxed at all, which is kind of where the government needs to get its money from. So swings and roundabouts. It's just generally quite lax, and yet at the same time, massive penalties if you do somehow fall foul and they catch you.
Well, I will be right back, but I've got to do one thing. Coffee black now.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Captain Track, Bird of Prey, neither of you have a Rumble account, do you?
I think Bird does.
Oh, Bird does. Okay, yeah, Bird does, but you don't, do you, Captain?
No.
Okay, this is a silly practical thing. Can you access a Rumble video just by clicking on the link, or do you have to sign up to a Rumble account? So, can you click on this and see it, Captain, or not?
I don't know. I don't know. Is there
Like-
one? Let me check backstage.
I've just stuck in the private chat. So if you click on it and
And-
successfully show it, then that means you don't need to have an account to see it, I assume.
Correct. I don't.
I
I'm
don't
watching
have
it
a
right now.
Rumble account.
Oh, okay, you don't have a Rumble account.
And it's I clicked on it and it's
Yeah.
playing for me.
Right, okay,
Yep.
so you don't need to have a Rumble account to see the videos, although
No.
they might not be advertising it. I know that if I try and Google videos are on Rumble, they don't tend to turn up in search engines, yeah? So it looks like they're not searchable, but they're not blocked that you actually have to have an account with Rumble to see it.
Well, that's good. At least you can watch it if you share a link out to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
good.
hoping. I thought it was that way, and then Six said that she hadn't looked at the Phantom edit, the version of the Phantom Menace that has had all the bad bits cut out. She said she hadn't watched it because she didn't have a Rumble account. I'm thinking, hang on, I didn't think you needed to have a Rumble account to watch the videos, but now I know you don't. And thank you, Captain.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I just clicked on it real quick to see if it would play because I hadn't even thought about it because I remember I was watching the other thing. So yeah, you don't need an account to watch it.
Good. I'm relieved.
But anyone who's in the chat is more than welcome to join the panel. One of the retired Cups.
I still have a cap.
I'm surprised.
Oh, actually, I went looking for it. The one I couldn't find the longest time was the one I had of Admiral Oliver Franklin's. Thankfully, we were finally able to find the damn thing because I was getting pissed.
I'll be right back.
Absolutely, Bird. No problem.
So I guess I'll have to add to.
Kronos has a Rumble account.
I've never been on Rumble. I don't know anything about it other than a few things I've heard now and again, but I'm not familiar with Rumble itself.
No.
I've experimented with a couple of alternatives to YouTube. Literally a couple. BitChute being one, and Rumble being the other. BitChute was a massive disappointment because their syncing with YouTube, which they purported to have, just doesn't work. Their uploads are really unreliable. They often fail and take forever. Rumble can be a bit slow on the upload, but actually they're not that bad. And their channel sync with YouTube's good. Their FAQ is non-existent. Their technical support is it exists, but it's not brilliant. But that's still a step up from BitChute, which has zero technical support. So Rumble are doing okay. They're not bad, and mostly I use them as a backup store for all my YouTube vids. Now that it's syncing with YouTube, whenever I upload anything to YouTube, it automatically gets uploaded straight, or they copy it straight across onto Rumble, which saves me having to make backups.
What does it? Yeah, that's a good thing.
Resolute bills. We don't need to pay no stinking bills.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Germ.
Yeah, work. Gotta love it.
No. Although at this point, I'd like to be able to go to work, but yeah, not a lot of places would hire me.
Well, chances are you'd hear a lot less screaming.
Except I would be the one screaming in pain.
I remember when I tried to do that job at the butcher shop, and I did the just a quick kind of see how I would do. And 2 hours in, I mean, the guy had been doing it for 30, 40 years. And I guess maybe because I'm older, he thought I should know what I'm doing and tried to talk to me like a teenager, which I found utterly hilarious. I'm just like, yes, sir. Okay, sir. All right, sir. I'm just talking to him like I would talk to a boss who was yelling at me, and just I think I was pissing him off more because I wasn't getting upset. And I remember when after 2 hours, and my back was killing me because I cannot stand still anymore for long periods of time. I just can't stand in one place for long periods of time. I have to move around.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Cap, you probably know this. You'll start getting that pressure and the tightness in the lower part of your back.
Yep.
Yeah. And it gets worse and worse and worse as you're going. And then it was like after 2 hours, finally my time was done. I knew this wasn't going to work out. Even if the guy liked me, it still wasn't going to work out because this was too painful. I'm like, if this is how I feel at 2 hours, there's no way I can do 10 hours of this every day. It's not going to work. But when I got out of there and the son was like, I'm so sorry about my dad. I'm like, for what? He goes, oh, the way he treated you. I'm like, oh, I was like, I've been treated way worse. I'm like, honestly, it took everything I could not to laugh at him at times.
You probably
Yeah,
should.
can I just answer Darius? Darius said in the chat, he says, Rumble sounds interesting, but it's got that air of being right-wing or supporting alt-right or just being a conservative at the mildest sort of rebukes they get.
Right.
And yeah, the thought crossed my mind, I don't like to have political affiliations associated with me, and I'm not right, that's for sure, but neither am I religiously left. I tend to take my opinions on subjects using rational thought and weigh up the pros and cons on each individual case. So sometimes my thoughts might sound a bit right and they might sound a bit left, but I am neither. However, I did think for a second, I don't want to be necessarily associated with something that's, associated with far right propaganda. On the other hand, it's not just that. There are a lot of wackos on there, but then if you have a relative amount of free speech, that means you're going to have a genuinely diverse platform of opinions. And so, yeah, you get some pretty freaky ones on the edges in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just the right-wing ones. They might be more on Rumble. But I felt avoiding that platform for that very nebulous, not very precise reason wasn't a good reason to avoid it.
Well, remember, Dr. Alex, I can't speak for Europe, and I'm not going to even attempt to. The idea of conservative that I am, because I classify myself as a conservative, is I take the terms conservative, liberal, and progressive, and I try to separate them because people have this habit of putting liberal and progressive, that's Democrat. If you're conservative, you're Republican. It's like, I'm not part of any particular party. Whereas Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, whatever the case may be, I try to explain to you, they're nothing but private companies, and all they do is take money to their job is to put people in government positions. That's it. Conservatism, liberalism, and progressivism are really just ideologies. Now, my ideology on conservatism is based on American constitutional conservatism versus what the Europeans would call the left and the right.
Yeah.
Because you have a different, you all in Europe, you have a different, or maybe a more broader term for left and right people, or you have more categories. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but conservative there is, as far as I can tell, different. Because whereas conservatives here reminds me more of being a geek. It's like, you want to come in the sandbox, come in the sandbox. You're going to hear different opinions. Just work with them. And they'll work with you.
Conservative in the UK certainly is extremely leaning towards unregulated free market. That's what the Conservative government seems to do. But for as a political entity anyway, and yet sort of still maintain or retain certain heavily socialist things just because they know how popular are they. So they haven't killed the National Health Service yet, although I suspect they'd love to, because it's a very socialist thing. And then the other parties, the left-wing ones, purport to be very much into social programs and social welfare, including National Health Service, national transport. But in reality, they are also in the pockets of businesses as well. So they're less distinguishable than their labels would suggest, and their ideologies. Well, they're politicians. They don't really have ideologies. They have whatever's expedient for the time. What was that? That waving to 6.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't see the chat at the moment. So I can...
And 47 Yorktown says, bonjour from Eastern Canada. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Let's get caught up in the chat.
You know, I'm only
morning, 6.
I'm only 5 hours from the Canadian border. I am thinking about maybe next year getting my this year or next year getting my passports renewed and actually taking a trip up to Canada. I haven't been there since I was a child. And I'm not going to lie, what I remember of Canada was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, no, we're not going into political shit.
Good.
No,
Let's not talk about that anymore.
No, that was limited to just differences between Europe and America, and we're going to leave it at that. We got much more fun things we could talk about.
Absolutely.
Like, when is Bird going to do another Risk game, and who's going to win that one?
How fast will Bird lose?
I don't know. I saw Bird really dominate a few games now and again.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn, he's finally using my strategy. I've had times, I'm sorry, but I've had times where I've been sitting there in the chat watching that, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? You're going to die, clown! And I'm watching as people are going, I'm like, I would attack here, I would do this, and it's like, oh, I could win this game easy.
Somebody talking about Risk again?
Yeah, I was talking about your last win that I saw.
NB is...
Well, I was talking about your last game. I saw you win. You just utterly dominated the hell out of that game, and they were accusing you of cheating.
You want to play NB?
Not right now. I don't have my tablet in front of me.
I didn't say the second. I doubt Bert wants to play
strategy. The best Risk strategy is to make alliances.
I don't know. For me, best strategy has always been strengthen my border areas and strengthen my most vulnerable areas. It works most of the time. Every now and again, I'll lose depending on what version I'm playing, which is one of the reasons I like the Risk game that you play, Bird, is the same one I have downloaded on my tablet, because, you know, we can get all those different versions of Risk, and, you know, depending on what we're playing on, changes the whole dynamic of the game and how you place your character or how you place your pieces. It'll be a lot of fun.
If I disappear, it's because there's a thunderstorm going on.
Ah, shit. So that means it's heading my way.
Oh, no.
So, just letting you know, if I go, I don't know how long I'll be gone. I'll leave it up to you.
Cap, how bad's it looking on the radar?
I'm not looking at the radar now. It's just listening to when I hear thunder.
I got you.
With my headset on, I know it's loud.
Yeah. Hey, Bird, do you have a favorite Risk version you like to play? A certain map?
I love the classic map. That's just my favorite.
And Darius, subscribe to Birdo Prey 5. Maybe let's see here, it's Friday. Maybe you think you could play Risk today?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because it's bed life, but
yeah, that is right. It is bed life.
I can always make changes.
Well, I've started to literally before I go to bed. I'm like, I'm so tired of trying to find new shit. I'm like, let me just find something old I enjoy. So I'm back on season 1 of Deep Space Nine.
And Kronos says, need some deer bops. Are there any deer bops there?
You know, I'm watching this.
I'm
I'm
sure
watching
there's
this
some.
first season. I'm watching this first season of Deep Space Nine, and I really want to do. I'm starting to think after I finish this first season, I really want to do a review on Jadzia Dax and how her character is in this first season. Because
I did wonder if that was a euphemism to begin with, but carry on.
no. She's when she comes off, it's very interesting the difference between her and Bashir in the very beginning of the season. Uh, she is a join trill. She has, I believe at this point 7 life experiences or 6 at the time, and she just is very, she was trained to be a join trill. She wanted to be one, so she's prepared for this. And she just kind of is very kind of comfortable in her own skin and her own way of doing things. Because I guess this, and she mentions how trills, try to rise above certain things when they're joined and things like that. And it's just interesting how very confident she is. And at times, Bashir, when he's doing his job, he's very confident. But outside of his job, he's still a young doctor, still trying to, and he's very flirty with Jadzia. That's very given, and she finds it cute, but she's not overly that interested in him. But it's a very interesting contrast between those two types of characters.
And Jadzia changes completely.
Yeah.
Within a couple seasons, she goes from the very upstanding, I'm a scientist first type person to a very flirty person by the second and third season.
And then when Worf comes there, she just, and I think this has to do with her time being Curzon and being so much around the Klingons, she just has a natural attraction to Klingons and their culture. And then there was that episode where she's going before the, what I would call the mistress of the house for Martog to approve the marriage between her and Worf. And Jadzia starts, talking to Cisco and is like, I was negotiating this and doing this. And he's like, he has to remind her, that was Curzon. You're not Curzon. Curzon did that. She is not seen as Curzon. So you're going to have to do the right thing, lick her boots and suck it up.
Basically, yeah.
And that's got to be difficult for a symbiote to have to deal with, being like, I did all this shit before. Well, part of you did all this shit before they were born, but you're not that same person. And sometimes you notice a trill sometimes tends to maybe forget that they actually weren't the ones who did it. It's I found it very interesting in DS9, the different cultures they managed to expand on. Probably better than any other Star Trek show did.
You should do a focused review of that respect. You could go through all of her episodes, which is probably all the episodes, but virtually. But yeah, you could definitely make a focused review series like that.
I did that with, I did something like that with the Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Wanda. Mm-hmm. And I kind of focused more on when I did it that I said, I'm not looking at the show in the perspective of entertainment. I'm looking at it from a psychological perspective, because when you look at Wanda's history, for example, she's a very broken woman. If you look at her history, it's full of tragedy and death and loss. So it's not surprising to see her basically at this point break, which is what I called it.
Hmm.
And good morning, Brandon Looney Tunes 2000. Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000. Need more coffee.
Mm-hmm. There's always room for coffee, Cap.
Chuck, yeah.
Dr. Alex, anything anything coming out of British TV that would be of interest to Americans that you've seen?
Given I don't really watch British TV, I don't have a TV anymore. But I do sometimes get rumours of things. Things like, well, there's nothing. I wouldn't watch anything that's on the BBC right now. The most interesting telly we get is normally imported these days. So nothing springs to mind. Svila Betkin recommended, and I am watching, Raised by Wolves, which isn't exactly British TV, but there are a lot of British actors in it. So I'll take it. It's close enough. So I'm about 6-7 episodes into Raised by Wolves, and it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's partly managed by Ridley Scott, so maybe that's not a huge surprise. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen it.
Well,
I've heard.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about this. What do you think about Star Wars, where all the British people are the villains?
Oh, I think that's a great idea, but I mean that's where we've been getting our work for years, is playing the villains in many places and franchises. I think it. Partly it's got to be because apart from British accents apparently sounding authority laden, we did at least, maybe do might not be true, did have very rigorous acting training in this country. Not me personally, but actors in this country went to places like RADA and got trained to a very high level to perform on stage. And so they were good actors. And to play a villain, you generally have to be a bloody good actor, which is why so many of the villains ended up being played by British actors, I think.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was something that American actors pulled from the British culture on acting. Was if you were going to be a serious actor, you needed to cut your teeth on stage.
Yeah. And that still largely happens in this country. I think it might be on its way out now. But yeah, I think that's why there were so many British villains, particularly in the earlier decades. I think the first American I remember seeing who really broke that mold of making a good American villain, and he's a little bit of a brutal villain, but he definitely did it brilliantly, and it's excellent. It's Clancy Brown playing Kurgan in the Highlander movie. He's like, wow, now you really are stealing the stage and stealing the scene here. You are doing a great job as a villain. That was the first time, an American was like, okay, you know what you're doing. And he's terribly underused, Clancy Brown, but whenever he pops up in a film, he does claim the screen. He possesses the screen. He's great as a voice actor as well.
Bird, I think you're in charge now. Cap just dropped off, he said. Clancy Brown, Dr. Alex, believe it or not, does a lot more in America than you'd realize. He's what and I don't know what you guys call it in the UK. We call him more of a character actor.
Oh yeah, same thing, character actor.
Okay, yeah. He's great in just about anything he does, but he's one of those guys who can. He's not usually the main character, but he's the guy who you can bring in as a villain or a side character. And he's done things on that, like he was in the video game Detroit as one of the detectives, which I thought was a lot of fun, and he really brought his acting chops to it.
Yeah.
He was in Earth 2. He was in Sleepy Hollow, the first episode. Oh, God, he's been in so many damn things. It's sometimes amazing. You see a character actor and you recognize them and you start thinking about all the shows you've seen them in, but they've never been the main character.
Yeah.
Like I joke about sometimes with people about Bill Paxton. I'm like, you got to give Bill Paxton respect. He's the only actor who was ever killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien. And a lot of people forget. They remember the Predator. They forget the Terminator one because they forget he was actually in the first Terminator movie. He was one of the three punks.
Welcome back, Captain.
Yes,
Thank you.
How was your internet?
I lost power for a second, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to go.
Well, I figured if you didn't come back within 10 minutes, I'd have shut it off. But
okay, good deal.
just to return to your Clancy Brown thing for one more second, Clancy Brown will always be Lex Luthor to me as well. He's done the best Lex Luthor I think that springs to mind. He just could do the businessman with some sort of charm and reserve, flipping to an outright psychopath. When he lost his cool, he was very good at that.
Robert Rozier would agree with you. Oh yeah, him as Sergeant Zim in Starship Troopers.
He was good there, yeah.
Okay, I love the book. The movie is campy as hell, but it holds a special place in my heart for 90s campness. And yeah, it was fun. What did Clancy play Lex Luthor in?
Superman the animated series, but then into Justice League the animated series. Yeah. Oh yeah. He was brilliant. He made that role worth watching. That's for sure.
Like I said, we've had A-list characters, but then you have people like Clancy who've, had a steady career throughout the time. And I'm going to shut up and let Six talk.
Hi, I feel like I haven't talked to Captain Trek in a while, and I thought, well, here's my chance. I don't really necessarily have anything to say. I just wanted to come on and say good morning, happy Friday. I'm off this weekend, so I'm in an extra good mood.
Awesome.
Applause.
Hi, Bird.
Hello, Six.
Hi, Dr.
Hello,
Alex.
Six.
I hate storms.
I like storms, except for when they knock out my fucking power.
Yeah. I love a good thunderstorm.
An advertisement for Six the musical on Broadway.
Really?
Yeah. Did you know you had a whole Broadway?
I did not.
Coming up? Well, you should probably talk to somebody about getting
some residuals.
Money.
Yeah.
Probably get rich.
Hopefully, unless they shut Broadway down again.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
Don't underestimate New York's ability to fuck things up.
So, Captain Trek, are you pedaling at the moment to keep power going?
I wish. No, I had to go in and get more coffee. Figured I'd take advantage of the situation and go ahead and get coffee. And then Six came on, and so I unmuted, and now I'm back where I normally sit.
Coffee, black, in a Captain Trek mug, which you cannot find this Captain Trek mug anymore because it's discontinued, but you can find many other nice coffee mugs and many other fight items at Captain Trek's merch store. That's Captain Trek's merch store. Accepting cash, Visa, MasterCard, and eventually Bitcoin. I haven't done that one in a while.
Nope. It's been a while. Let's see now.
Oh, Six. You do not need a Rumble account to watch that video. You can just click on the link.
Oh, I don't?
No.
Oh, my gosh. Here I've been thinking, oh, gosh, I got to create a new account, another password to write down. Okay. All right. Making a note. Thank you for sending that or posting that. I appreciate it.
I'm going to upload the Phantom Editor's version of episode 2 today, so you'll have a superior version of that to have a look at as well.
Well, I truly doubt that I think the prequels are perfect. So okay. I'm definitely willing to give yours a try, but it's highly I think I'll feel like I'm missing something. All
right, well, we'll see. I quite enjoy having their running times go out at under 2 hours.
I could have done with an edited version of the Batman. It still would have sucked, but at least it wouldn't have been 3 hours of boredom.
That is a long film.
I haven't made it through that movie yet. I've only made it about 30 minutes, and then I fall asleep.
You're going to probably do that the rest of the movie, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I love Batman. He's probably in my top 5.
I have thousands of Batman comics behind me.
Yeah.
You can't, if you look at the right back here where I'm pointing, there's this little area where I'm pointing at you can't see. That's Superman, Batman, Birds of Prey, Nightwing, Robin comics. I have tens of thousands of them. I'm a little
Wow.
bit familiar with the Batman culture and Batman as a. This is what I've tried to explain to my son. He thinks I'm a comic book fan. I'm like, no, son. I know certain comic book characters. I don't know them all.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to explain that because he'll ask me about characters. I'm like, I know nothing about that character. And I really don't. I don't try to bullshit him. I keep trying to teach him where to go to get to the right place. But, he wants to talk about Batman, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Captain Kirk, Picard. Hey, I can talk about that shit all day long.
Yeah, I have a lot of comics too, but they're 95% Star Wars.
Oh, you have what was that? The DC Star Wars? No, the Marvel Star Wars. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dark Horse. Wait, are you talking the Marvel or the Dark Horse or the new Marvel?
I stopped buying Star Wars comics a few years ago. I canceled my whole pull list just because it was, they're putting out crap, and also my nearest comic book store is 45-minute drive. Yep. Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. Yep.
I have all of them.
Yeah. And
I have all the Tales of the Jedi.
And it was too much of and he was the comic book shop owner. He was really kind. He held my pull list. He would hold it for like 3-4 months just because it was such a pain. I had to cut out at least an hour and a half of a day to drive there and back to pick him up. And I finally just told him, just cancel my pull list because I'm not going to keep coming out there, and they keep putting out crap, and it
costs too much too.
Well, it wasn't. I didn't have an issue with the price because I was only buying Star Wars comics, but they were just. I didn't support what they were doing in the stories. So.
Well, let's put it this way: when you're looking at a $4.95 comic that is 25, 26 pages long that you can read in less than 20 minutes. Whereas if you go to the bookstore, you can pay $10-12 depending, or $27, get a 500-600 page book that you're going to be engaged in for hours or days. There's a big difference there, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us have gotten out of what I would refer to as mainstream comics, because unfortunately, I think a lot of us as storytellers, for the most part, we'd like a story to have an ending at some point.
Yeah, that's always nice. A goal.
One of the best book series I ever read was by Kevin J. Anderson, who did several Star Wars books. A series called Saga of the Seven Sons. It was 7 books. Each one was about 600-700 pages long, but man, you want to talk about world building, creating short chapters. Unlike those British actors, unlike those British writers I like what's his name? Simon R. Green. Writes great stories. Unfortunately, writes very long chapters that are 30-40 pages long.
Yeah, I think this is a modern writer thing. That's a problem with a lot of writers today, that they're writing, what used to call it, the coffee table novels, the huge, thick things that are unnecessarily long. My favorite author, I've said this before, is Michael Moorcock. And when he was writing his best stuff, here's a good one, his books were the standard size you'd expect, like that. Thinness, that's a novel. That's what a novel should be in my mind. That's the level of, that's the amount of words you can get a good story across if you're doing it well. As you get older, though, let me grab another visual aid if I can. As you get older, I can't find it. Actually, I can. Where are you? Where's one of your boring ones? where are your boring ones? I don't have many of these boring ones for obvious reasons. I can't find one, but suffice to say, this is not it. This is a book I borrowed, but he did Elric books later in into the 90s or the late 80s, and they were getting this sort of thickness, and it's the same, trying to cover the same ground. But
let me see the cover of that, Dr. Alex.
Oh, this one, that was a Night Circus. My cousin lent me this, and I still haven't read it.
I have that in my Amazon cart.
Oh, there you go. Let me know how it goes, because I got about 2 pages in before getting distracted. But yeah, the size difference. Michael Moorcock went from this to this, and his stories just ground down to a snail's pace. And Elric is one of his most famous characters. It should drive a story on at quite some pace with lots of action and adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Revenge of the Rose, I think it was called, his Moorcock one that was in the edge of the 80s into the 90s. And it was like, God, I'm not going to read any more of your new stuff. I did pick up 1 or 2 of his new books after that. I think Casablanca was one he did that was in that era. And it just went on, not the film, obviously. It was something else he used the same title for. But it was just so turgid and slow and overblown. He was once the master of being concise and precision with his language and getting through stuff at a pace, and he seems to have lost it, which is a shame.
I would say Kevin J. Anderson did. This is the 4th book in the saga of the Seven Sons, and
I think I've seen it.
It's 600. This one's 674 pages, but if you get to book 12, you're on chapter 3 already. So,
right.
And it's always different perspectives of, and I mean, his world building was amazing. It was like Babylon 5 level good, in my opinion.
6 says, I love Moorcock. Yeah, you're damn right. He was. He's still alive, thank goodness, but he hasn't written anything decent in decades. But his early works were fantastic. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Jim Butcher?
Nope, afraid not.
Oh, I have one of his books. Maybe
I've read all but the last 2 he's put out, as far as Dresden Files, which actually Jim Butcher is what got me on to this British guy, Simon R. Green, who, I'm going to be honest, when it comes to world building, you don't realize it unless you've read a bunch of his books, realize all his books take place in the exact same universe, even if they're at different timelines. They all take place in the same universe. And they all take place in Britain for some reason, because y'all are just that good. Those are 3 of my favorite writers.
So what you doing today, Captain?
What am I doing today? I was thinking about watching something on, I don't know. But
not Paramount Plus.
Well, no, not Paramount Plus.
Hey, why don't you watch something on CNN Plus? Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, too soon. What are you thinking about watching, Captain?
Oh, well, I probably ought to watch the Batman. Being stormy, it may help me sleep better. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Take your meds. Watch that. You'll fall asleep pretty quick.
Yeah, I've tried to watch that 2 or 3 times, and it's knocked me out every time. And yesterday, I got about 2 hours sleep, and I could not frickin' sleep for the life of me. And it wasn't until later that night I thought, why didn't I put the Batman on? Because I was trying to sleep to Doctor Strange. And I've seen that a bunch of times, but it wasn't doing the trick.
Oh, yeah. Watch the Batman. That'll put your ass to sleep.
Yeah.
I did not know it was possible. I have already stated, I'll take Batman and Robin over the Batman because both suck in different ways, but at least Batman and Robin is shorter, and I'll get at least a couple of silly laughs out of it.
And Darius, I wish you could come on. I really do.
Yeah, what's going on with his computer?
I hear it's put together. He's adding software now.
He's tricking it out. Got to add lights and a spoiler in the back and that kind of stuff.
He's going to pimp that computer like a boss.
Pimp it out.
I agree with Kronos. Dune was actually very good. I only had one complaint about the movie that I think a lot of people have agreed with. It was just 15 minutes longer than it needed to be. But other than that, still an amazing movie.
Darius, if your computer's fixed, why aren't you in here?
I think he's at work.
Ooh, that might be the case.
Oh.
And if he's not at work, he should be in here. So if if he's working, now he's got a good reason. If not, get your butt up here.
Yeah, but Kronos, Batman and Robin also had Alicia Silverstone, and we got to see her ass in a bat costume. So, yeah,
I like her.
and got to see what's her name as Poison Ivy. Just kind of,
yeah,
just kind of see Uma Thurman. I'm gonna admit that was probably what I thought her sexiest role was until Kill Bill 1 and 2. And then I'm sorry, but there's something very hot about a woman with a sword.
Yeah.
Hail the panel. Hail the chat.
Good morning.
I have a thought.
Okay.
Doomcott said that they're making a Secret Darth Vader TV series.
Mm-hmm.
If that is true, this is Disney's Hail Mary pass, because I don't think they can get any further in their L's than they have in the last month.
You want to elaborate on that thought?
Please.
They've lost their tax credit status. They've lost their country within a country status. They have lost subscribers in mass. Their ratings are terrible on everything that they're putting out so far, and they are considered a corporation that grooms children because of their stance. So all this has come to fruition in the last 30 days, 45 days. And now Doomcock says that they're doing a Secret Darth Vader series. I say that's a Hail Mary pass. I say that's their last chance at redemption or trying to make money.
You don't think Kenobi is their last chance at redemption?
No, because my assumption from the trailer is that Kenobi is just a placeholder, like Boba Fett was a placeholder, and they are mostly focused on the female protagonist or antagonists in the show.
I think that they've been holding out, and I've been wondering why they haven't made what most people want, which is a Darth Vader series, because that's what a lot of Star Wars fans would love to see. Is Darth Vader, maybe an anthology series. You start 1 year early on, and then you do a few episodes, and then you go through his time between episode 3 and 4, and see his evolution from being Darth Vader as a new to being the Sith Lord we came to know. I would definitely love to see that. I think right now what it's come down to is the lack of a better term, the pendulum is swinging, and it's swinging back a direction they don't like, and people are forgetting this. If you have a pendulum and you have ideas, Disney really shot themselves in the foot because of a couple of factors, and this is just my opinion on this. Disney has been so powerful in Florida, Disney World in particular, for so long, and they've been
getting a little too political.
No. I'm saying they've gotten very special status in Florida versus, say, other places they've set up parks. So
what are your thoughts on the 6?
Well, I think that they would be foolish not to do a Darth Vader show because they have Hayden Christensen back. And I think that Hayden Christensen is excited to be back and being a part of Star Wars. I remember it was a few years ago, he showed up at a Star Wars celebration, and he came out on the stage with one of the Star Wars talk show hosts. And he seemed so amazed and grateful and humbled by the reception that he received. And it was, it was the first time that he'd been involved in anything Star Wars for a while. And it was so great to see that reception for him, because, he got a lot of crap from a lot of people based on how they perceived his acting, how they perceived the hi Jedi Bill, how they perceived the prequels. I personally, like I said, I think the prequels are perfect. I think Hayden Christensen did a wonderful job. I think he's a fantastic actor. And the fact that he's back and he's going to be in Kenobi, and he seems to be looking forward to that, and he seems to be excited to be involved again, I think that they need to take advantage of that. And they could put anybody in a Darth Vader suit.
Mm-hmm.
They could put that helmet on anybody, a stuntman, anybody. But if they can put it on Hayden, that makes it, for me, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was single digits, that makes it all the more endearing, and it hits all the member berries and all the nostalgia. So I would not be at all surprised if they started a Darth Vader TV show.
That's interesting that you say that, because up to before the prequels, we all loved Darth Vader for two things: the voice and David Prowse.
See, I'm going to be the exact opposite there. I didn't know much about the actor in the suit, the British actor David Prowse.
Yeah.
When I think of Darth Vader as an American grown up, honestly, I think James Earl Jones.
I agree. I'm wondering how good Hayden Christensen's impression of James Earl Jones could be.
They could, James Earl Jones is an expensive actor for voice, especially Darth Vader. And if they have a voice box for Hayden, I can see that. I can see that in terms of budgetary reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But hot damn! I mean, James Earl Jones is the most expensive voice actor in history. For 3 words, he got paid $1 million. This is
CNN.
Yeah.
His voice is going as well. I mean, in Rogue One, he did sound a little bit too old in voice to be doing Darth Vader.
Yeah,
I would think that would be easily fixed with all the electronics and technology that they could alter.
De-aging
I don't know
of
anything
voice.
about that kind of stuff.
I've always joked and said, this has always been a fun joke. I don't know if this is ever real. I always assume that Hollywood is paying Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones just to read the phone book and random things, and paying them for it. So saying, we might use these later in other movies, but we're going to pay you for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Freeman, Mr. Jones, could you just read the dictionary here? We'll figure out how to put it together later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely hilarious. But I don't think that's not an impossible thing. That's probably happening right now.
54.5 access radio. No, hell no way.
Yeah.
Never.
I'd watch that all day long.
I would take an opposing view. If they do a Jar Jar Binks TV series, they have to make him a super Sith Lord.
Agreed.
They could make it for toddlers, 5-year-olds.
Can you imagine Jar Jar Binks being the ultimate Sith Lord? I mean, he was right in front of everybody. Oh, I mean, the eyes were exactly the same as the Sith Lords.
I love Darth. You said that. I'm sorry. What did you say about why people love Darth Vader?
Oh, Darth Vader, because the actor David Prowse and the voice,
Okay.
James Earl Jones.
I love Darth Vader because of Sebastian Shaw, because the death scene for Darth Vader when he's on the ramp and Luke is saying, "I've got to save you." I could still cry watching that. Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie. Luke Skywalker is my favorite fictional character of all time. And that sort of redemption scene is, for me, why I love Darth Vader.
That's the thing that bugs me personally about that, is because that was a last minute swap out from Lucas. He was going to use Prowse, but for some reason they had their wires crossed, and Lucas thought Prowse was being disloyal and talking about the confidential information about the story and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas just swapped him out for Sebastian.
Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's what we ended up with. That's what's in Star Wars.
Yep.
Sebastian Shaw is Darth Vader, and that's
Well,
the story. That's
and,
the canon.
and here's the thing, now that I'm talking about it, I didn't even think about this before. Okay, we know Darth Vader. I mean, we know the moment becomes Darth Vader. We know the moment he dies. And what is it that they would actually tell you that's any different or any better?
Yeah. This is I'm going to be controversial here. I think this is the problem with Star Wars. Full stop. They shouldn't have strung it out beyond the original 3 movies. Everything they've done is pulling the thing. It's spreading it too thin. It's like a piece of butter that's been spread over too many slices of toast. It's just going on. They should have left it and done something new, which, to be fair, is what Lucas did, because he went off and did Raiders and the Indiana Jones stuff afterwards. That was a great thing to do. Go and do something completely different. It was also amazing and became a fantastic franchise. But
yeah,
this retreading of old ground is not necessarily a very fertile ground to go back to.
And may I submit this? I mean, if people are hoping we see Darth Vader at his prime and his evilness and his awesomeness and hunting down Jedi and all that stuff, it's like we already got that in was it Revenge of the Sith? I mean, he slaughtered children. How worse can you get than that?
Younglings.
Yeah.
Anything else after that is just like, oh, you took down a Jedi that had 6 arms. Oh, yawn. I just don't see how they're gonna make it interesting to the point where, oh, I'm surprised that happened.
And then I recommend you don't watch it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I will, because based on what they did with Boba Fett, I just cannot see if they're gonna do any better with Darth Vader. But then again, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Are you going to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I have to, because the one thing about Obi-Wan Kenobi compared to Darth Vader is that you really, really don't know any of Obi-Wan's story. He went into the desert, and then you see him talking to R2 in episode 5.
Yeah.
There's so much mystery there, so much lore in your imagination that I can see working. But gosh darn it, I hope they don't just put him as a placeholder for other characters to shine in the story.
Well, in order to have an informed opinion, you have to watch it.
Sure.
I mean, you can say that it's terrible all day long, but if you haven't,
I didn't say it's terrible. I just
I mean in general. People who say that this show is terrible and that movie sucked.
God, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Did you watch it? No, you didn't.
Yeah,
So
I
you don't have an
hear a
informed
lot
opinion.
of people saying that so many times. Like, oh, I just saw the trailer. Well, this series is going to suck. Oh, what? Just what?
Well, no, I can understand reacting to a trailer and basing, and you have a partially informed opinion based on just the trailer. Now, unfortunately, most trailers don't give you enough information. They're teasers, and they're supposed to make you want to watch whatever, the movie, the series, whatever. If they're not making you want to watch it, it's a bad trailer.
Right.
I think I tend to agree with
the trailer based on it itself. That doesn't necessarily mean the series as a whole or the movie as a whole is bad, but you can judge the trailer. Absolutely.
I tend to agree with 99% that you shouldn't really be dissing something you've not seen. But on the other hand, I have taken to a more cautious approach to actually watching stuff as well. So I watched the first 6 episodes of STD and then thought, God, I'm not going back to this ever again, and didn't watch any more of the new Star Trek they've been bringing out at all. And knowing that, I haven't seen any of the Jodie Whittaker current era Chimble bollocks Doctor Who. And I am bad-mouthing it a bit there. And the reason I'm doing that is this is not the first time I've not immediately watched Doctor Who. When Matt Smith took over the role, I didn't watch Matt Smith because I thought, this guy looks so young. They're putting a fetus in the role now. And for about 3 years, I didn't bother to watch it. But I heard nothing but good things about Matt Smith's portrayal. So eventually, 3 years down the line, I went back to his first episode and watched all of Matt Smith and thought, my God, he's brilliant. But that was because I'd only heard good things as well. Whereas with Chimble Who, I feel confident enough to diss it because I've watched very detailed breakdowns of the plot points of the episodes, even though I've not watched the episodes, because the reviews have been quite detailed and yet shielded me one layer back from watching the crap itself and having my love of Doctor Who tainted by something that's a piss-poor travesty of a copy of Doctor Who. So I agree with you. Generally, we shouldn't diss things we don't watch, but there are a few exceptions I would now make.
But if somebody asked you, what did you think of that season, or what did you think of that show, would you say it was terrible, or would you say it looked terrible, I didn't watch it?
Yes, it would be the second one. I would tend to use that qualified way of talking about it, because I hadn't seen it directly. I've seen the odd clip, but only when people are reviewing it, and that's bad enough.
I'll give you an even better barometer. I watch Gary review Doctor Who, Picard, or whatever.
I don't tend to watch. I don't tend to watch no erotic, but I have watched Critical Drinker and even better, Spielberg, Rabbit from Another Planet, pulling it apart, and they are very. Z in particular, very knowledgeable about what they're doing.
Well, it's not about being knowledgeable, but the way I kind of look at it is, I try to watch Gary do a review, and if it just bores the heck out of me because the show that he's reviewing is so terrible, even Gary can't express how terrible it is. I switch off. I mean, it's that profound.
I use Critical Drinker and Steve in the same way. They're both very entertaining presenters, full stop, and they're very good at imparting the information about the series as well.
Sorry to jump in, but I just have to. I gotta go, guys. Sisso Prey's having an issue. To try and find her some help. The babysitter never showed up, so we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
Bye, Bird. Take care.
Take care, Bird. Take care, man. Take care of the family. That's what's most important, as always. Dr. Alex, I have a question for you.
Hello.
Well, since Doctor Who returned back in 2005, I was just kind of looking at the average viewers millions, and I see this thing over here that says Audience Appreciation Index, which the way I'm looking at it is a UK thing. So, I mean, I'm not familiar with. I'm looking at the audience participation in the numbers, and well, I'm kind of noticing a fluctuation in it. And I'm not going back to the original, but if you go back to, say, the revival, the Ninth Doctor, 7.95 with an 82 index. Yes, 13th season has averaged 9.45 at a 77 index. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because there are shows in America that would kill to have a 4.9 on that rating.
4.9 million? Oh.
Yes. 4.9 average views in the millions. In America, channels that we've got shows that wouldn't even rate 1 million. So it's just interesting. I keep seeing people talk about Doctor Who currently is a disaster, but I'm like,
well, I'm not an
okay,
expert in how viewing figures work, but as far as I'm aware, the live viewing figures for Chimble's latest episodes have been around the just over 2 million mark, which is not very good for the standard of the show, as I understand it. But again, I'm not an expert in how their rating system works.
Right.
Gotcha.
And the figures you're quoting, the four up to about 4 million, I think they're these what they call consolidated ones, where they're taken over at least a week, possibly longer, adding up all the possible sources of views, and there's some possible shenanigans involved in that. But again, I don't know how this works. I do know that it's largely loathed. Even the media is turning against it now in this country, finally. Same as his dross. So they've lost their shield.
That's too bad. I like Jodie Whittaker in Broadchurch. I thought she did a good job in there.
Well, Broadchurch is a procedural cop drama. I mean, people always drag Broadchurch out, saying, "Yeah, no, Chimble has got competency." No, only in the same way that Midsummer Murders has competency. I mean, yeah, he can write a procedural cop drama for normies. Bravo. Maybe we should go off and do some later seasons of Law and Order or something, but don't let him loose on something that requires a little bit of intelligence now, sci-fi skills, imagination, something outside of a box.
Well, you bring up a good point there. Just because Chibnall was good at that and Jodie Whittaker was good as an actress in that.
Mm-hmm. Playing a mother, by the way.
Reminder, David Tennant was also in it.
Just because you stuff a high-profile actor into a bog-standard run-of-the-mill show doesn't actually make that show brilliant. It just means a lot of people will watch it because there's a handsome actor in the middle of it. Again, Chimble's been dragged along by a lot of people who seem to be helping him along the way.
But that had been the only thing I'd ever seen Jodie Whittaker in was Broadchurch. I had never seen her in anything before that. And I had seen Doctor Who from Hartnell to now. And when I saw her acting, I was kind of like, at first I thought maybe a little Peter Capaldi. And then I was like, this is kind of not, it just didn't feel like the Doctor.
From the few clips I've seen, she doesn't have range. And I think every actor who's played the Doctor had to have some measure of range to be able to play something outside of the ordinary for a start, which is the very definition of the role.
What's the second Doctor after that came in?
Patrick Troughton.
No.
Sorry, you mean the new ones?
The new ones.
That was David Tennant.
Yeah. Hi, Courtney. I love you, honey.
David Tennant.
Who's very good.
Impressed the hell out of me. There was one scene where he brought back the girl who ended up being had basically his mind in him. I forgot the girl's name.
Donna?
Yeah, Donna Noble.
Donna Noble. He brings her back, and
Dr. Donna.
Yeah, and her mind is wiped, and her father and David Tennant on the street. That entire scene was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Bernard Cribbins is not to be sniffed at either as an actor, and it's nice to see him in main canon in that role, as opposed to in the side canon of the movies.
Yeah, that was. I was like stunned. It was such incredible value for the work that they have done, for the work they budgeted. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the ending of that season was great, only because it was the impression that the Master was going to be the downfall of the Doctor with the 3 knocks, and then it was the father of Donna just knocking on the plastic one.
Yeah.
And then you realize what the Doctor, and I mean, he's just like, why do I have to die to say? I mean, this is one of the few times we've really seen the Doctor being like, I just don't want to change for once.
Yes. It was it was well written stuff. RTD knows what he's doing. I hope he can pull this the fat out of the fire. I fear he may not be able to, or not have the inclination to, or at least not do enough to actually save the series.
And as much as I hate to do this, the thunder keeps getting worse, and I don't have my I don't have Bird here to end it if things go wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and call this stream. Thank you all for joining me. I want to thank everybody who's been on the panel and everybody who's been in the chat. I would love to be able to keep going, but I don't know how long I'm going to have internet. So have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Talk to you later.
Thank you, Captain.